In the middle of the dense Amazon forest, an orphan lives with a giant black snake. How did they meet? Here is the full story. Kai, a 10-year-old boy, lives happily in a small village on the banks of the Amazon River. His father, Maro, is a brave fisherman who teaches Kai how to read the river currents and understand the language of nature. His mother, Sari, is a weaver and storyteller who often tells their ancestral legends about the guardian spirits of the forest. However, their happiness is shattered when a great storm hits their village. The once clear sky turns dark. Strong winds knock down trees, and torrential rain floods the land. The Amazon River overflows with terrifying force, swallowing people's homes. Kai wakes up in the middle of the night as water begins to enter his house. His father tries to rescue them in a small boat, but the fierce current capsizes the boat. In the chaos, Kai is separated from his parents, carried away by the strong current. When the storm subsides, Kai is stranded on a small piece of land surrounded by dense jungle. His body is weak and his mind is filled with fear and sadness. He calls out the names of his father and mother, but only the echo of the forest answers. Kai's first day in the jungle was a tough test. With an hungry stomach and a weak body, he tried to find food. He found wild fruits, but he didn't know which ones were safe to eat. When he tried to drink water from the river, he saw the shadow of a piranha moving quickly. At night, the roar of the jungle became more frightening, and the heavy footsteps of animals kept Kai awake. He climbed a tall tree for shelter, but the cold and hunger almost made him give up. However, every time despair struck, he remembered his father's words. The jungle is never cruel, only harsh. Listen and learn, and you will find a way. The next morning, Kai began to observe his surroundings more closely. He learned from the birds that ate certain fruits and avoided brightly colored fruits that other animals didn't touch. He used sharp twigs to try to catch small fish in the shallow river. Little by little, Kai began to understand the rhythm of the jungle. On the third night, as the full moon lit up the forest, Kai sat under a large tree, feeling deeply alone. Just as he was about to fall asleep, he heard a rustling sound coming from the bushes. With his heart pounding, he saw a giant anaconda snake step out of the shadows. The snake's body was large, gleaming like emerald in the moonlight. Its yellow eyes stared at Kai intently, but there was no sign of threat. Kai froze, certain that the snake was going to attack him. But to his surprise, the snake coiled around Kai, creating a circle that felt like a shield. Kai didn't know why, but he felt safe. When morning came, the snake was still there, and near Kai was a large fish that had apparently been left for him. Kai looked at the snake with gratitude. "Is this from you?" he whispered. He named the snake Inara. Since that night, Kai and Inara have become an inseparable couple. With Inara's help, Kai began to learn more about how to survive in the forest. Inara guided Kai to trees that bore sweet fruit, showed him places where fish were abundant, and even protected him from danger. Kai felt that Inara was not just a snake, but like a guardian spirit sent by nature. When night fell and the cold began to set in, Inara would coil around Kai's body, providing warmth. Kai's days in the forest turned from struggle to adventure. He learned to read animal tracks, recognize weather signs from bird behavior, and even make a simple spear to catch fish. However, Kai's life was not always peaceful. A large jaguar named Pahalu began to notice their presence. Pahalu is an old jaguar who considers himself the ruler of the jungle. He views humans as a threat, due to his experience with a hunter who once injured one of his cubs. When Pahalu hears about a human cub living with an anaconda, he decides to investigate. One night, Pahalu approaches the cave where Kai and Inara are resting. In a deep, low voice, he says, "Little human, what are you doing in this jungle? You don't belong here." Kai calmly replies, "I have no other place to be. This jungle is my home now." Pahalu watches Kai with keen eyes. "Your presence will bring danger. Humans always bring destruction." Kai tries to convince Pahalu that he means no harm to the jungle, but the old jaguar remains suspicious. He decides to test Kai's courage by sending a troop of monkeys to steal Kai's food. Kai and Inara work together to chase the monkeys away. With courage and cunning, they manage to defend themselves. Pahalu, who has been quietly observing from a distance, begins to realize that Kai is different from the humans he knows. In a small town on the edge of the Amazon, A hunter named Jago hears stories of a giant black snake living with a human child. He sees this as a golden opportunity to gain fame and money. Jago brings a small team with sophisticated equipment, guns, traps, and a large net. He enters the jungle with one goal: to catch the giant snake. Kai and Inara become aware of Jago's presence when they find human footprints near a river. Kai is worried, but he doesn't know how to fight such a big threat. Kai began to notice unusual tracks around the river, shoe prints, ashes from campfires, and pieces of rope left behind. The presence of these strange objects made Kai wary. Inara, with her natural instincts, showed signs of discomfort. She kept her head up, detecting strange odors in the air. One night, as Kai and Inara rested in a cave, they heard heavy footsteps. Cautiously, Kai peeked out. He saw the shadows of several men carrying torches and weapons. One of them was a stern-faced man with a large rifle slung over his back, Jago, the famous hunter who had come to capture Inara. Kai knew he could not face them head-on. He and Inara had to find a way to keep the hunters away from their territory without getting caught. Kai devised a plan with the help of the animals in the forest. He enlisted the help of a troop of monkeys who were initially hostile to him to steal the hunters' equipment. He also spoke to a troop of parrots that often flew over the forest, asking them to make noise to distract the hunters. When night fell, the plan was put into action. The monkeys jumped between the trees, taking ropes and equipment from the hunters' camp. The parrots chirped loudly, making sounds like crying children, which lured the hunters out of their campsite. However, Jago was a clever man. He realized that this was a trick to mislead them. "They are trying to protect something," he told his team. "We have to find the snake's nest." Kai and Inara flee upstream, trying to avoid the hunters. However, Jago and his team find their trail. They start to travel down the river in a small boat, carrying weapons and a large net. On the way, Jago uses a trap. He pollutes the river with a chemical that kills the fish. Kai sees the changes in the water and realizes the danger. He tries to move Inara to a safer place, but the hunters keep approaching. In a tense moment, Pahalu appears from the shadows of the forest. The jaguar, although initially skeptical of Kai, decides to help him fight the human threat. Pahalu attacks one of the hunters' boats, causing chaos. Kai takes the opportunity to lead Inara deeper into the forest. However, Jago does not give up. He vows to catch the snake no matter what. Kai and Inara headed to the deepest part of the forest, a place considered sacred by Kai's ancestors. There they found giant trees that were hundreds of years old, a clear lake, and caves filled with ancient paintings. Kai remembered his mother's story about this place. In the heart of the forest, guardian spirits gather. They will protect anyone who respects them. With that belief, Kai prayed to the guardian spirits, asking for their help in saving the forest from the threat of hunters. At the same time, Inara began to exhibit strange behavior. She moved quietly toward the largest cave, as if being called by something. Kai followed her and found an ancient stone altar with a carving of a large snake. Kai felt that this was where Inara came from. "Is this your home?" she whispered. Jago and his team finally found their way to the heart of the forest. With full equipment, they approached the cave where Kai and Inara were hiding. However, before they could enter, the forest took action. Birds flew low, attacking the hunters. Vines moved as if alive, trapping their feet. From inside the cave, a rumbling sound was heard like the whispers of ancient spirits. Inara emerged from the cave with a larger body and eyes shining brightly. It was as if the forces of nature had united with her. Kai, with the courage he had learned during his life in the forest, stood beside Inara, facing the hunters. Pahalu also appeared, leading a herd of forest animals to fight humans. A great conflict took place in the heart of the forest, where nature fought against technology. After a fierce battle, the hunters finally retreat. Jago is injured and loses most of his equipment. Angry and defeated, he leaves the forest, vowing never to return. Kai, Inara, and the other animals celebrate their victory. They have successfully protected the forest from the human threat. However, Kai knows that this threat may not be the last. He resolves to continue protecting the forest, making it a home for all the creatures that live in it.